So welcome to today's Greater Life CoffeeCast. And today, as we explore the pillar of hustle, I'm minded to re-emphasize something that I had re-emphasized to me over the last weekend. And it is the paramount, I was going to say tantamount, but maybe tantamount too, tantamount importance of clarity of messaging. And so in today's newsletter article, I share 6 business lessons I learned from helping out with a local food bank charity, gathering donations in a supermarket. And even though we'd set up a fairly simple process for people to be able to donate, still the number of times where I would explain the process and people would just look at me blankly was staggering. And I don't necessarily have empirical, hard and fast logical data for this. But it's now the second time that I've had the experience. You can just hear my son in the background slowly coughing himself awake. It's the second time I've had the experience of messages not quite hitting the mark in the last 6 months or so. I think I shared the example of the clarity and traction roadmap that we'd created, that we put on, we advertised out through various Facebook channels, one of which being Marketplace, with an image of a tyre. And the tyre, of course, implying getting traction, right? And yet we had hundreds of people clicking on the link thinking they were getting some free tyres. And the cynic in me, the critic, the harsh, judgmental, perhaps the part of me that also judges myself still, wants to suggest that people have got stupider. And I don't think that's the case. I do think, however, that whether it's they are more discerning in their attention, or whether their attention span is shorter, all of these things could be in play. But what is absolutely certain is that any time we are not absolutely crystal clear in our messaging and in our ask, and any time we do not make it super simple for someone to then be able to understand what we do and then be able to take the next action, to be it purchase, be it download, be it do something, right, that they need to understand what we are asking and then be able to take the next step easily. And there was a time once, there was a time when you could be quite quirky deliberately. You could almost build your brand around being a bit opaque. And that part of the allure was for people who enjoyed what you did, would enjoy putting in the effort to connect with you and find out a bit about you. And I just, that could work in very, very rare circumstances, but you'd have to be in a really specific niche, I think, for that to be a thing. For the vast majority of us, the sense I'm getting is that more than ever, we have to spell things out in absolutely the plainest English possible. And of course, I don't mean literally in the English language, because if you speak Spanish or Punjabi or whatever, but actually just spelling things out so clearly and making it so easy. Because as soon as there is a hint of friction, the chances of you losing that person are very, very high. And the other aspect in this, of course, is that if people are more discerning with their attention, or their attention spans are shorter, what it means is that you're going to have to be, as much as possible, on their mind all of the time. And you might think, well, George, how on earth do I do that? And it simply means just, you've got to be consistent. Okay, you've got to consistently put your messages, you've got to put your messages in front of them consistently. Because the first one or two messages you share with them that they see may not grab them. You may do your absolute best, and for whatever reason, your first one or two messages just may not grab them. Meaning that if you do not seize the opportunity to then place yourself in front of them tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, then you potentially could be losing tens, hundreds of customers simply because of this attention phenomenon. And like I said, I'm sure there are some stats that could back this up. For example, I know that various Disney channels have increased the bass tempo of the music that gets used in their TV shows. I think it was from something like 128 beats per minute to 133. And they say that this is the result of kids drinking energy drinks and of having a shorter attention span. So they need to keep it more upbeat to keep the attention. And I'm sure that you could find similar stats for us as adults that our attention spans have become shorter. Like I said, it's not a data thing that I have right now. It's just a sense, it's a feeling based on a few experiences now. And the reality is that even if it's very hard to be too simplistic, right? Like, to get people going, oh, your message is too simple. Like, oh, I understand it too well. Like, when's that ever happen, right? So this feels like a really important direction of travel. And the ultimate gift that this phenomenon is giving you as a business owner is that it is forcing you to get really clear on what you do and to be able to articulate it in 1-2 simple sentences. And if right now you can't do that, and I've given this invitation before, that is an invitation I offer, is to do whatever it takes to get to that point. And if I can help, because that's, I'm seeing more and more that part of my gift is to be able to help people use words to communicate clearly. And I'm really now starting to understand just how important it is that I actually shed my own tendencies of using 10 words when one will do. I see how important that is out in the world now. That simple really is the king here. So that is our focus today as we explore the pillar of hustle. Is if you look at your offers, your marketing, your sales processes, the person who should not be looking at them actually is you. Ask a trusted friend or a customer who loves you to go through the process and let you know anywhere where things are not crystal clear or obvious and simple. Because any time there is any friction, you risk losing the opportunity to change the life of a potential customer through what you offer. And of course then, for you to earn the money you deserve through sharing the gifts you have. All right.